And then the sunnah. Excellent. Okay, so the definition, you can use your own language, you don't have to use my language. So what is the definition of each one of these three components? Rukn is must. Okay, what else? Sorry? Fard. Okay, rukn is fard. Alright. Okay, now an obligation, a wajib. Is it a must to do? Yes or no?
Yes.
You must do it. Very good. So please remember, a rukn, you must do it. A wajib, you must do it. Alright? Now, what is the difference between the two then? And that's where Walid's mom is going to tell us.
If you miss rukn, whole thing will be now.
Okay.
You have to repeat it.
Okay.
And if it is wajib, then you have to go do the extra six.
Okay. So, so I want to know from you. So for a rukn, you have to do sajda sahu if you miss it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Please have this clarified. Okay. Very good. For a wajib, if you miss it, do you have to do sajda sahu?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Correct on both counts. Please don't be confused. If I miss a rukn, I have to do sajda sahu. If I miss a wajib, I have to do sajda sahu. Okay, understood. Then we said that a rukn is must, a wajib is also must. So now we've seen similarities between the two. Okay, sajda sahu works for or applies to both of them. Must, the word must applies to both of them. So how are they different?
Difference is if you miss rukn,
Yes.
then you have to do the whole thing again.
Very good. Okay.
And if you do miss the wajib, then you don't repeat the whole thing. You
Okay.
just go on the first
Very good. So everybody was able to hear the brother. So if you miss a rukn, you have to do that, repeat that entire action. Okay? But if you miss a wajib, you don't have to repeat the entire action. Sajda sahu will take care of it. Okay? Sajda sahu have to be done for both. A rukn, you have to repeat that action and also do sajda sahu. Now, sunnah, do I have to do sajda sahu if I miss it?
No.
If I forget it? Excellent. Nothing doing. Okay? I don't need to do anything. Okay, excellent. So far, in your notes, refer to your notes, what is a rukn, what is a wajib, what is a sunnah, how far did we get? The sister rightly said we were on the position of ruku'. So let's start from the beginning. From the beginning, can you tell us, just call it out, what's the first rukn, what's the first thing, just call it down in sequential order.
Standing is the first rukn.
Standing is the first rukn. Excellent, good. Okay, next.
Takbir.
Takbir, takbir, takbiratul ihram. Okay, takbiratul tahrima, as you know, some Urdu speakers say. So takbiratul ihram is what? Rukn. Excellent. Okay, next. So a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim is what? Is a rukn? Make up your mind. How many say rukn? Raise your hand. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Okay, one sister, two sisters, three sisters, four sisters, 5, 6. Okay, now watch it. There can be the pillar. I'm asking about a rukn. How many people say a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim is a rukn, pillar? How many? You say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's some kind of could be okay. 5 people. Okay, who else? How many say it's wajib? It's an obligation. Okay, looks like majority or maybe 50-50 split. Okay, please note, saying A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim is a wajib. Okay, wajib, not a rukn. Okay, it's a wajib. Excellent. Okay, then what's the next thing we talked about? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is a rukn, but before that also sequentially, if I were to, putting aside all of this discussion that we had, if you stand for salah, you're standing for salah, how would you say the sequence of events takes place? What is the first thing that you do? So let's say Masood Bhai, you go ahead. He's a cameraman, so we put him on the spot.
Yeah.
So you
After takbir, we start Subhanakallah.
excellent. So you say Allahu Akbar, and then you say Subhanakallah. Very good. So all of you, nobody mentioned this. Okay. So what's the ruling on this thana? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وتبارك اسمك وتعالى جدك ولا إله غيرك. Right? What ruling is this under?
It's a sunnah.
It's a sunnah. Everybody agrees? Anybody thinking it's pillar, wajib, anything? Perfect. Sunnah. Excellent. Then comes what? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Okay? And it's fine. In case you change the sequence a bit, so if you say Allahu Akbar and you begin with أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, if some people do that, inshallah not an issue, but generally speaking, that's not what we do. We generally start with Allahu Akbar and immediately we say, as Masood Bhai said, the Thana, Subhanallah. Okay? Excellent. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Now we head into, so this is all, by the way, recap of last week. We haven't started today's dars. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? It's a rukn. Excellent. Then, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Then what comes after that? Surah Fatiha. Brilliant. So, Surah Fatiha is what did we say it is? Rukn. Perfect. Then, recitation of a surah. Sunnah. Perfect. Then I go into ruku. So do I say something when going into ruku? Exactly. I say the takbir. Okay? So leaving behind takbiratul ihram, which we say Allahu Akbar to begin the salah. The next time we will hear the word Allahu Akbar or the words Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar will all be takbiratul intiqal, we said. The takbirah of movement. What's the ruling of this?
It's a
These are all wajib.
This is a Masood Bhai wasn't even here in the class. I think he has some jinn that was here and then communicates with
he's
him.
always watching.
Yeah, I know. He's doing his,
No, there is no audio
doing
in
his
the video.
CSIS FBI behavior from there. Exactly. So excellent, Masood Bhai. Barakallahu feek. Allahu Akbar, takbiratul intiqal is wajib, not rukun. Not rukun. It is a wajib. Excellent. Alright, so now we have gone into the position of ruku'. What did we say the position of ruku' is? Rukun. Absolutely. Okay, don't worry, we'll come to scenarios. Remember last week I asked you guys to come up with scenarios? Let's discuss those scenarios. The things that we face, that we make mistakes in. When you are coming to Jama'ah is a completely different ballgame altogether. How to catch the rak'ah. Some people say no, you have to catch, if you catch the ruku', you've caught the rak'ah. Some say no, if you. So all of this stuff we'll discuss inshallah in due course, okay? And also what constitutes catching the ruku', okay? This also needs to be discussed and to be properly understood in our minds. A lot of people, they catch the ruku' thinking that they have caught the ruku', therefore they have caught the rak'ah, but in reality, they caught nothing. That's a tragedy. SubhanAllah. Why? Because they didn't understand what catching the ruku' even means. Okay? Now, as I mentioned to you last time, that all of the things that I'm teaching you, all of these things are, I shouldn't say all of these things, a minority of these things, just a little bit, there is discussion amongst the fuqaha. Okay? For example, an example to give you, saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Some fuqaha, some scholars hold it to be merely a sunnah, not a wajib. Okay? But the majority opinion is what I want you to go with. As one of my teachers said, whatever is the majority opinion, your heart feels more inclined towards. Okay? Alhamdulillah. Of course, there are, again, this is the nature of fiqh. There are particular cases where we do go with the minority opinion. Okay? I don't want to start any controversies, but we do take some minority opinions when there is a need to. Okay? We don't just get up and say everything minority opinion. We don't do that. Okay? Alright. So, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir. Okay, all this stuff has been discussed. Now I go into ruku'. The position of ruku' is rukun. Excellent. Now in the state of ruku', what is it that I say? Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Okay? What is this dhikr? What ruling do you think it falls into?
It's wajib.
Excellent. It's wajib. Okay? It's wajib. Very good. Then I stand up from ruku'. Okay? That's the next step. When I stand up from ruku', what is it that I say? Sami Allahu liman hamida. What do you think this is?
This is you have to stand up straight.
Okay, you have to stand up straight. But my question wasn't that. My question was? Sami Allahu liman hamida. What do you think? So Aftab Bhai says wajib. How many people will join him? You think it's sunnah? No. How many people say wajib? How many people say wajib? Obligation. Don't confuse between fard, okay? Because your definition of fard is our definition of rukn, okay? So don't get confused between this. Yes. How many people say wajib? Okay, majority of people say wajib. Yeah. Excellent, good. After buying, mashallah, okay? Now, on that note, inshallah, you'll buy nice donuts for us. We should be buying donuts for him. Okay, so excellent. So it's wajib saying Sami Allahu liman hamida. So now, if I am in ruku, and I'll talk about the position of ruku as well and how to properly do ruku. Now, if I get up and I say Allahu Akbar, it happens. Yes? Yeah. It happens, subhanAllah. Let's be honest. SubhanAllah, sometimes you do that. Imagine you do that on a mic. Allahu Akbar. God save you. So when you say, instead of saying Sami Allahu liman hamida, you say Allahu Akbar, then immediately you try to remember. Don't go back to saying Sami Allahu liman hamida. Don't do that. You said Allahu Akbar, you said Allahu Akbar. Koi baat nahi, forget it. Because what will take care of it? Sajda. Sajda. So why? Because a wajib was messed up with. A wajib was messed up with. Wait till the end, do sajda sahu, it takes care of it. Okay? Now saying Rabbana wa lakal hamd, answering Rabbana wa lakal hamd, this is also wajib. Okay? Some people say it is sunnah, but again, it's part of it. It goes together. So we will say, saying Rabbana wa lakal hamd, this much is wajib. Now adding more to this from the sunnah, that is the sunnah. Okay? So what is the additional wordings? Who knows? Okay. So saying hamdan kathir. So Sami Allahu liman hamida. Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi. This is sunnah. Okay. Now you'll hear different styles of saying Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Some people will say Rabbana lakal hamd. That's okay. Saying Rabbana wa lakal hamd. That's okay. Some people will say Allahumma Rabbana wa lakal hamd. That's also fine. Okay? All of these we get narrations from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now let's talk about how is ruku properly done.
When we pray behind Imam,
yes.
Imam says Rabbana Sami Allahu liman hamida.
Yes.
So if we are praying behind Imam, we need to say the same thing and also Rabbana.
Exactly. It's better that you too say Sami Allahu liman hamida Rabbana wa lakal hamd. But if you don't say Sami Allahu liman hamida, you just say Rabbana wa lakal hamd, that will also be okay. Because like I mentioned to you, that chapter of praying in congregation is a very interesting chapter. That many things that you may mess up on will be absorbed by the fact that there is an imam. So those mistakes, like sometimes things happen, may Allah forgive us. I mean, we're human beings, right? You went into ruku with the imam and you were saying, At-tahiyatu lillah wa salawatu tayyibat, some crazy stuff. You, maybe in ruku, you were saying Subhana Rabbil A'la. Okay? Mistake. And then you get up and you're like, oh, what did I just do? No need of sajda sahu. Nothing. Why? The imam took care of you. Okay? But that's a tragedy, that's a calamity. You and I must be in our proper state of mind when we are praying. Is that clear? Okay, excellent. So how is ruku done? Ruku is done like this. Your hands will neither be completely out open, nor will they be completely stuck together. Something very natural. Natural. And the Prophet would place his palms on his kneecaps. The patella is called. A funny name in biology that we've learned. So on the kneecap, he would place his hands in a very natural manner. Then, what's the next step? The next step is, some people, now when we start our salah, the eyes must always look at the place of sajda, except in ruku. Okay? Some people erroneously, what they do is, their eyes are still looking at the place of sajda. No, your eyes, natural place of looking. Okay? You don't look at your feet, you don't look at the place of sajda, just wherever naturally your eyes are going, okay? And then you say, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Now, the placement of the hands we've talked about. The next point that you and I must remember is the back. The back has got to be super straight to the best of your and my ability. Okay? Now, the ideal would be a 90-degree angle. Okay? Where your back is straight and your legs are straight. And one of the ways to do that is you'll need help. So when you go home, inshallah, seek help from someone, stand in front of a mirror. If there's no mirror, ask someone, am I straight? Am I straight? So get your back as straight as you can. Is that clear? It will take some practice where you must feel a stretch. Your muscles here are stretching out, and it's almost to the level that you may feel that, oh my God, I'm about to fall over. Okay? That's how you must, because we've gotten so used to doing lousy, ruku, that we don't even realize. So please, doing ruku like this, for example, utterly wrong. We can't do ruku like this. Okay? Some people, so these are all mistakes. The proper way of doing ruku is where you actually feel that stretch coming. Now the hands are here, and you come as straight as you can. Bring, move around your shoulders if you need to while practicing, not in Salah, because I've seen people trying to do some break dance during Salah. So don't do that. While you are practicing with someone at home, move your hands, try to see your hands, what will allow you to make your back as straight as possible. It's going to take practice, and try to do that, inshallah. Abu Hurairah tells us that the Prophet, peace be upon him, you would put a container of water on his back and the water won't fall. Okay? That's the straightness of the back that we are looking for. And people, again, I mentioned this disclaimer in our first class as well. All of these rules are exempted for the person who has medical issues. If you have medical issues, inshallah, no worries. No problem. People have, they suffer from back issues, scoliosis, and this and that. But subhanAllah, you are exempted. But if you are fine, you're okay, then you must make an effort to, inshallah ta'ala, pray as the Prophet prayed. Why? Because the Prophet, peace be upon him, commanded us. Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. The Prophet ﷺ said, pray as you have seen me pray. And in this hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, never said that the women should pray in this manner, the men should pray in this manner. That is not established from the Sunnah. So you and I being daisies, mashallah, our ladies, the way that they are praying, subhanAllah, is very different from the men. Where does this come from? Well, it comes from the fuqaha, the scholars of Islam, where they say naturally the woman should have a more haya position. She should be in a more modest position, this, that. Okay, these are all opinions that they are putting forward, okay? But nothing from the Prophet ﷺ. So our sisters are going to pray exactly as the men are praying. Okay? So our sisters, for example, especially in the sajda, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, poor ladies, they've been taught to suddenly turn into, turtles, where, mashallah, they're in sajda and, somehow they're contorting their body and, putting their head inside. I mean, subhanAllah, why? What have they done? Miskina, she's trying to pray and she's undergoing punishment. So that's incorrect. When we are in sajda, we must do sajda properly. So we'll talk about that next class. It's almost midnight, so we have to end it, inshallah. So the point is, ruku, please practice at home. Try to get your ruku together. Try to get your ruku as straight of your back as possible. You should feel that stretching of the muscles, inshallah. And try to make sure that your legs are straight. And try your best, inshallah. So, Subhan Rabbil Azim, we learned it is wajib, Sami Allahu liman hamda, Rabbana wa lakal hamd, from the wajibat. Then I say Allahu Akbar, and then I will go into sajda. The position of the sajda is what, people? It is a rukn. It is a rukn. So position of the sajda is a rukn. Now how do I go into sajda? You have narrations from the Prophet ﷺ, where the Prophet said, when you go into sajda, do not go into sajda like the camel does. Now, who amongst us has ridden camels? Who amongst us has camels as our best friends, mashallah, in our garage, that we have camels? We don't. Okay? So the Prophet, peace be upon him, mentioned that do not go into sajda like the camel. Now, when you look at the camel, and one of my teachers he showed a video of the camel. You look at the camel almost oscillates as it's going down. So it's going to move forward first, then go back first, then go forward again. So it rocks back and forth until it sits down. Now the controversy amongst the scholars of Islam. So are the front feet, are we going to call them feet or we call them hands? And the back, are they the feet? Or the front knuckles is this and So the issue never got resolved. So what do? You go into sajda, inshallah, whatever position you follow, it is fine. Knees first or hands first, no worries there, inshallah. Okay? So go as you normally do. So if you go down, so after you've said Sami Allahu liman hamida rabbana wa lakal hamd, please remember your back has to be straight, as the brother reminded us. So we don't do a lazy behavior where we say Sami Allahu liman hamida rabbana wa lakal hamd and Allahu Akbar. No. Stand up properly. Sami Allahu liman hamida, because try to understand, and perhaps later on we'll talk about how to make the salah meaningful. What are all of these azkar? What do they mean? Okay, so Sami Allahu liman hamida, that Allah has heard the one who praises Him. Sami Allahu liman hamida, that's the meaning. Allah hears the one who praises Him. Rabbana wa lakal hamd. O our Lord, O our Master, for you is praise, alhamd. Okay, then you will say Allahu Akbar. So I go knees first and Allahu Akbar in this manner. Now that I am in this manner, my hands, where do my hands go? Okay? Do my hands go in this manner? Allahu Akbar. Do my hands go here? Do my hands go here? Where do my hands go? And the answer is the manner in which you started your salah. If you begin your salah by raising your hands up to the level of the ears, then in sajda your hands will be beside your ears. If you go into, or rather if you start your salah by raising your hands to the level of the shoulders, then in sajda your hands should be around your shoulders. Does that make sense? Alright, now the next point that we have to remember, absolutely necessary, the Prophet peace be upon him said, sajda must be done upon 7 bones. What are these 7 bones, people? What are the 7 bones? Very good. So the forehead and the nose is 1. We count it as 1. So the forehead and the nose is 1. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7. Now that 6, 7, it is a disaster. When you see people, okay, I was trying to make sure everybody is able to see me. When you see people do this, Allahu Akbar, or Allahu Akbar, and mashallah they're playing, or Allahu Akbar. I don't know what they're doing with their feet. Okay? Again, this is a disaster. Why? Your feet must be firmly planted. Allahu Akbar. Now planted meaning there should be nothing that could come and take your foot away. Do you understand? That is what I mean by planted. So plant them in. Now from some hadith we learned that the Prophet ﷺ, when he would go into sajda, what would he do? So when you're here, Sami Allahu liman hamida rabbana wa lakal hamd, and then you say Allahu Akbar, he would bring his feet together. You see that? In fact, the Shafi'is mandate the women especially to bring their feet together. Okay? And then you have the Hanabila and other scholars who say that everybody should bring their feet together. So for example, personally, if you ask me, this is how I do my sajda. I bring my feet together and I plant them in. Plant them properly so that nothing can take the feet away. Alright? Now if you don't bring your feet together, so where the position of your feet are, you leave them there and you go down Allahu Akbar and you plant them properly in. Okay? So no dangling behavior. Okay? That there's no dangling happening. That is sajda on the 7 bones. The last thing that we'll talk about tonight is the Prophet ﷺ says that do not make sajda like the dog does. Okay? And this is another tragedy that a lot of people are unaware of. And that is, how does a dog sit? Its palms all the way to your elbow are stuck to the ground. That's a mistake. So if I do my sajda like this, Allahu Akbar, this is a mistake. This is forbidden. So I cannot do my sajda like this, where from my fingertips all the way to my elbow, everything is down. No, I'll do sajda like this. Is that clear? And sisters will also do their sajda like this, So sisters do not need to go into sajda. Allahu Akbar. Something going on. I don't know what's happening. Okay? So sisters, subhanAllah, may Allah have mercy on them. Allahu Akbar. The way that they've been taught. So you properly do your sajda in that manner. Alright? So subhanAllah, we come to the end of our discussion tonight. If there are any questions, please you may ask.
There's one more last rukun, right? Just the salam, right?
Yeah, we'll come to that, but before the salam, there's more to discuss about the things that are said. Okay? So in my sajda is a rukun, and we have stopped where? At the first sajda. At the first sajda. Please don't forget that. Make a note of this. So next week, inshallah, we'll talk about, we will mention or will demonstrate if someone is praying Salatul Fajr. So Salatul Fajr is 2 rak'ahs. So Salatul Fajr, 2 rak'ahs. How is it properly prayed? And we'll answer a question. If nobody has a question, then I have a question.
I have one question.
Okay, yes.
So how some people are spreading their feet too wide.
Yes.
And they want to connect it, like
Yes.
fingers.
Yes.
And so if someone besides me, he wants to connect my wife, don't. So what about the why?
What's the exactly? So especially brothers are guilty of this. Brothers, mashallah, some of them they stand, and in their standing, they want to do their foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder. Some of them are standing like this. Allah Akbar. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so this is a mistake. It's a huge error. Okay, and another extreme is almost standing like this. This is an error as well. So what's the proper distance that should be between the feet? You look at the outsides of your feet. What do I mean by this? Is here. You look at the outside, the externals of your feet, and you estimate your shoulder width. And that should be the distance. Okay? As wide as your shoulders are, I'm not going to look at the inside, because if I look at the inside, for me, it'll be almost like this. This is wrong. Okay? I look at the outside of them, and estimate what is my shoulder. And that's how I stand. And after if everybody stood like this, then automatically we would be standing as the Prophet said, foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder. Now the scholars explain that the priority, is it the feet to feet or is it the shoulder to shoulder? And same thing for the sisters as well. It is shoulders. It is shoulders. That shoulders is the priority, that we must have our shoulders together. Okay? And this is something that is from the adab of standing in the prayer. Okay? It's an adab that unfortunately the Hanafi school doesn't quite follow, and for them almost, mashallah, there's a good amount of distance, but it shouldn't be. Okay? We should all be together like a wall. Okay, my question is, so last week the sisters said that praying in the car, is it a common thing that's happening with the sisters, that you are praying in the cars? Okay, why? What is the reason?
Like traveling. Like when we are on the travel, like
For 10 hours going
so many
to the-
people outside, like
Yes, I
they're
understand.
uneasy to
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you're saying that it's time to eat. If you are traveling and you are going, please remember, and again, that's what makes Salah such a beautiful chapter. There's so many things that are happening in the Salah. If you're traveling, sister, you should plan out your travel, and you can blame it on the husbands, and the husbands are going to blame it on the wife, that we kept on waiting in the car for 5 hours and the sisters did not come out. They were getting ready. Please leave on time, okay? Plan your day such that you don't need to pray on the road, okay? For example, Ottawa. If I'm leaving for Ottawa, let me leave right after Salatul Fajr. So I pray Salatul Fajr and then give it 2 hours even. So at 10 a.m. if I leave. I leave at 10 a.m. I'm in Ottawa after 5 hours, 4 hours, right? We follow the rules.
Impossible for Walid, he cannot come after.
He makes it in 2 hours?
No, he
1 hour?
he cannot wake up that early.
Oh, he cannot wake up at that early. So if say you leave at 10 a.m., then you are in Ottawa at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., right? You are a musafir. It's okay. That means you arrived there, and if you will come back in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, you are a musafir. So You got there, your namaz is not qaza. You pray 2 and 2. Your Salat al-Dhuhr and Salat al-Asr. You don't need to pray inside the car.
Before we start our journey, can
Yes.
we make our do the Safar Salat?
So before you start your journey, good question. The brother is asking. The answer, so he's asked if before I start my journey, can I start praying the salah of a musafir? And the answer is not that straightforward to answer, depends on the journey. Are you traveling overseas or are you traveling by road? If you are traveling by road, then your salatul musafir begins when you leave your city perimeter. So if you live in Brampton Sharif, and mashallah, you're leaving for Ottawa Sharif, then what's going to happen? You're going to leave as you get out of the Brampton area, then that's where you can now start praying musafir. Okay? Now if you're an air traveler, okay? If you're an air traveler, then some scholars say the airport becomes that place where you can start praying musafir. But personally, I don't like that because sometimes delays, sometimes your flight is cancelled, sometimes stuff like that happens and you come back. Okay, so why do you pray Salatul Musafir? Okay, and especially even delays. That okay, I prayed Asr Musafir, but my flight got delayed until Isha. God forbid. I mean, really. So what happens to that Asr? You should repeat that Asr, right? So it's better that you get onto the plane, and then we'll talk about the plane, Salah, and all of that. So Musafir, no. I cannot start because now I'm in Musafir mode, that I'm at home and I can pray instead of 4 rak'ah dhuhr, it's a dhuhr time, I pray 2. No, I cannot do that until I leave the city periphery, okay? I'm outside the city. So sisters, when you're traveling, that's why you want to pray in the road, or in the car rather. I would suggest that the husbands or the brothers, or they should take the car to a rest area, to a secluded spot, inshallah. And just, the brothers can sit or, open the car door, and, you can use that car door as a means of your parda, so to speak. Okay?
So we can pray in the car or we cannot?
You cannot pray in the car if it's a fard salah whatsoever. Fard salah, we just discussed, it's a rukn to stand. So a nafil salah you can. So you must pull over and you must pray your fard, and now you want to pray your sunnah, fine. Somebody else is driving, you pray your sunnah whatever way. The Prophet...
If I have a flight at 5:30.
5:30 p.m.?
5:30 p.m. I cannot make Maghrib.
Correct.
So when I reach home,
Yes.
then Isha, then Maghrib is gone. It's
So
Qasar.
your scenario is, you are in Brampton, at 5:30 you have to be at Pearson. Is that the scenario or no?
No. Like I'm coming from Saskatchewan, right?
You're coming from
I
Saskatchewan.
take the flight 5:30.
You took the flight at 5. So in Saskatchewan, what prayer did you pray?
Asr.
It was Asr.
Yeah.
And in Saskatchewan, you were there for, was it for 10 days you were there, or just a few
5
days?
days.
5 days, okay. So in Saskatchewan, so majority of the scholars, they say if you are going to be in a location, if you're going to be in a location for more than 20 prayers, then you are automatically a resident day 1. So if I'm going to Saskatchewan and I know I will be there for more than 20 prayers, I'm still in Saskatchewan, then for me, I'm no longer a musafir. But again, if you will be traveling within Saskatchewan, sometimes you're in Regina, sometimes you're in Saskatoon, sometimes you're somewhere else, and these are all far, far away, then of course you will become a musafir. Is that clear? So now, Asr. So you prayed Asr, let's say full. You prayed Asr in Saskatchewan full. 5:30, you have your flight to Pearson, to Toronto. And at 5:30, you got onto the plane, so correct. Now you have 2 choices. Either you pray on the plane, Salah of Maghrib plus Isha, so that when you come home, mashallah, you just fall straight into bed and sleep. And no problem about Salah. Or the next one is, you come home, and then you pray Maghrib full, and then you pray Isha full. This is the only exception air travel that you're allowed to sit down and pray. But anything
You have to
else?
stand when you're praying on the flight.
Correct. So in the flight also, there's no choice, right? That's the issue. That's why I mentioned this to the sisters.
Some airline they allow
The only
you can
airline
pray.
that I know most people buy is Saudi Airlines. that
No,
they
no.
have.
I mean, Etihad you can pray, Emirates you can pray. Only Qatar, sometimes the air hostess they bother,
I see.
but Turkish they allow. Don't worry. I mean, close to the washroom.
Yes.
So there is a door and the washroom.
Correct.
There is space you can pray there.
Correct. So if you can do that, fine. But if you feel that it's the alleyway, it's the walkway, and then it can cause, and then the washrooms,
in the
this
void,
first
right?
class,
First
and
class.
mashallah, you know.
And when you're traveling like domestic,
But
it
then
doesn't even have a leg room.
even have leg room.
No.
domestic,
I
he's
mean,
right.
in front of the door, like that space, even in economy class, you have the space for
the
sujood. Right?
plane itself is very
Very
small
tiny,
size.
the
I know.
domestic, the WestJet and the Air Canada's and all the Cessna
Small
aircraft. Exactly. So for that, the scholars they say, okay. And even in this, you have two camps. Some scholars are super strict. It's a fard prayer, even if all of your 5 prayers will become qaza, no problem. You cannot stand, so your salah is invalid. Come home and pray all of those 5. I feel it's too much. No. So therefore, I follow those scholars who say plain is the only pressing exception where just sit down and pray. And whatever direction the plane is, even if it's not towards the qibla, you just pray. Okay? And plain is the only exception. Other than that, no car, nothing. Pull over and pray.
Is standing there is standing there is a clear hadith or the direction from
Oh,
the
absolutely, absolutely. Standing clear hadith from the Prophet ﷺ that the Prophet, peace be upon him, the only salah that he would pray while sitting was on his camel, which was the nafil and the sunnah prayers. But there's not a single fard prayer that the Prophet, peace be upon him. In fact, the Quran says salah of war, Surah Nisa. Allah explains how the salah during combat, your enemy forces are in front of you, it's time for salah, you do not let go of the salah. Allahu Akbar. And how is that prayed? It's a very interesting way of how the salah is prayed when you are in combat and you stand while you're praying. Even in that, there's no exception. Oh, the enemy may come and kill me and this and that. Of course, you take measures, but you have to stand.
And the other question is, like I heard, if you traveling,
Your wife is, we need to think,
Yeah.
let's eat.
so if